Hey guys, and welcome to the 18th installment of Updated Builds, a series of videos where I go back over Warframes that I already made one or more videos about and I bring their builds up to date. Now today we're going to take a look at Ash, who has received some very nice changes to Bladestorm with update 22.12. They reduced the cost of each Bladestorm mark down to 12 if visible or 6 if invisible, and they made it so that you no longer Bladestorm by default. Your clones will do all the work, though you can still jump in and join them if you use a teleport on an enemy during Bladestorm. Now when it comes to Ash, I only use one build that's capable of doing pretty much everything, which is why I called it the Jack of all trades. Because the basic idea of this build is that it is a Bladestorm build that has just enough power strength to strip away armor with Seeking Shuriken, it has more than enough duration for Smoke Bomb, and if you want to use Fatal Teleport, you just swap one augment for another. So yeah, it is a Jack of all trades, master of none, which is oftentimes better than a master of one. And here is what the build looks like. So the aura I'm using here is Steel Charge, which gives you a ton of mod capacity and it increases the damage of Bladestorm. I then wanted as much duration as possible, so I have primed Continuity, Constitution, Augur Message and Narrow-Minded. Now this is good for Smoke Bomb, so it lasts about 15-16 seconds, which also translates into efficiency for Bladestorm, because if you're invisible, the marks only cost half the energy. Then to add some beefiness, I slapped on Vitality just to not get one shot whenever I come out of stealth, but if you feel comfortable with dodging damage, you can put in Flow or Primed Flow instead. Then to get a bunch of efficiency, I'm using a fully ranked Fleeting Expertise, which allows me to spam abilities willy-nilly. And then comes the Augment slot, where I either use Seeking Shuriken or Fatal Teleport, depending on what I want to do. And finally, I had to get some strength so that my Seeking Shuriken strips away all the enemy armor and Bladestorm does a little bit of extra damage, so I'm using Intensify and Power Drift. Now the best weapon to run with this kind of setup is definitely a dagger, and you want to put on Primed Fury, which will increase the animation speed of Bladestorm, Quickening, which will also increase the animation speed of Bladestorm, though you do have to start channeling before you pop it, and don't worry, since you are not hitting the enemies with your melee weapon, you're not actually gonna lose extra energy from channeling, and finally Covert Lethality, so your Fatal Teleport is always a one-shot. The 5 remaining mods are up to you. Now if you do want to go with Quickening, I would recommend you go into Options, Controls, scroll down a little bit and turn on Toggle Melee Channel, which will make it so that you only have to tap the button once and your channeling will stay on until you either turn it off or you run out of energy. And all that's left to do is switch to your melee weapon, turn on channeling and go ham. Just remember that you want to stay invisible for the additional protection, but also to make Bladestorm marks a lot cheaper. And as you just saw, this setup can comfortably take down level 135 enemies if you put 3 marks on them. If however the enemies are too beefy for Bladestorm, you can either use Seeking Shuriken to strip away their armor, because as you can see over here, the damage difference is absolutely insane, or you can swap Seeking Shuriken for Fatal Teleport and use that. This will usually allow you to take down 8 to 10 enemies in one Smoke Bomb. The really cool thing about this setup is that it is very efficient and it doesn't have any energy draining ability, so if you're using the Xenodic Focus School and you have Energizing Dash unlocked, you will never run out of energy. And the setup is so strong with its invisibility, armor stripping, armor ignore and finishers that the only thing that will ever stop you is you. If you don't derp out, you can basically keep going forever. It's far more active than something like Ivara because you're gonna have to micromanage multiple abilities at once, but it's also far more rewarding and more versatile as a result. The only thing it's not amazing at is sortie assassinations, where most of your abilities won't work. Everything else is fair game, which is what I like about this setup. The addition of Vitality in there also makes it beefy enough to where you don't have to cower in stealth in a low level mission, so you can just go balls to the wall with a shotgun or something. It's just a really cool, fun and effective setup overall, so I would definitely recommend you give it a shot. And that's pretty much everything I wanted to say about this build. Now it will of course work on the regular Ash as well as Ash Prime, though it may require a little bit more format on the standard version. And if you're not quite sure how to format it, the best way to do it in my opinion is to simply put on all the mods, and if they don't fit, look for the one with the highest capacity drain that's shared between all your builds, format for that and do that until all the mods fit. And I thank you very much for watching. As always guys, I hope you have enjoyed the video and it was helpful. And I will see you next time. Bye bye.